Hello and good evening. It's Friday yet again. It's a Friday. No, it isn't. Thursday. You see, I'm all messed about because I'm not doing a live on Friday. I think it's Friday. Good evening. Let's start again. Rewind. Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday evening. On Thursday evening this week, we are doing the live that we normally would have done on Friday evening. So, welcome. I hope you are all well, and I would love you to say hello or send a heart. No, I'd like you to say hello so that I know who's watching and if the comments are coming through. So, I hope you've had a lovely day. Hello, Sarah. My day here has been cold. The sun has not appeared at all. Hello, Heather. I wonder if it has in Northern Ireland. After the week we've had, which has been glorious, today has been cold. I put my furry jacket on this morning to walk to school. I took it off during the day, obviously. But when I came to go out again, it was sweatshirt weather. Not happy, really. You know, too cold for me. But hello, Gita. Let's hope things will cheer up tomorrow, and not too much tomorrow because I've got to do a little bit of work in the conservatory and it gets very, very warm. But for Saturday, I hope it's going to be lovely. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Jan. Good evening and welcome to you. Hello, Liz. And hello, Christine. Oh, lots of work tomorrow, Christine. Christine's helping me get bits together for the open house on Saturday. If you've heard about that, I keep going on about it, don't I? Hello, Alison. Hello, Bev. Hello, Gita. Oh, it's been lovely and sunny. You obviously had it all sent up north and not down here. Hello, Pat. Hope you're doing well today. Lovely to have you here. Hello, Linda. And hello. No, usually the names keep coming up, but it stopped there. So what have you been up to today? What have I done? Well, I went out to buy some homemade cakes at a lovely, lovely, large garden centre emporium. Hello, Judith. Specifically, probably about 20-25 minutes away. And I was so disappointed. Very warm with you, Sarah. Oh, my goodness. Hello, Beverly. Hope you're well. Because they had changed their supplier. Hello, Jen. And rather than the family business, because obviously I did ask, rather than the family business that they used to buy them from, it was the run-of-the-mill, cloudy in the northeast. Yeah, well, perhaps it was northeast downwards. I don't know, but it hasn't been nice. Yes, so they had the exact same, I say man-made, multi-made, that I could have got from my local garden centre, which is 2 minutes up the road. So not a happy bunny. So I just said, well, I'll go home and make some then. I thought I was going to save myself some time, but there we go. So I took Martin out with me. Thank you, Gita. And, oh my goodness. Hello, Tony. Now, I drive when we go out together. Hello, Marion. But all I get is grief. Oh, are you sticking to the limit? Hello, Vanessa. Mind that pothole. And he keeps putting his foot forward. Hello, Paula. Thinking he's braking the car, in the car. Hello, Shirley. Hello, Maria. Factory made. That's what I thought. Factory made. Hello, Liz. Lovely to see you. And hello, Elaine. So, hello, Alison. Oh, it's very windy in Hemsby. Now, daughter was in Cromer over the weekend, and although the weather was lovely, she said there was a cool, very cool breeze there, but I had a lovely time. Hello, Vanessa. Hope you're well. Yes, so I said to him, you know why we don't go out in the car together very often, don't you? Hello, Janet. Good evening. Yes, I do hate shopping. I like to know what I'm going out for, get it and come back home. He did want to have a sausage roll and a coffee, but I was so disappointed that they didn't have what I wanted. We came home. So that was my morning. Tony went to Cromer. It was too cold to get him home again. Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, it was last weekend. When it was really hot here, but the sea breeze just made it that bit colder, but they still had a lovely time. I have yet to get there. I must get there at some point this year, but who knows when. So, yes, he's downstairs, so he won't hear me. No, he messes about with all sorts, Vanessa. You know what I mean, don't you? Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Carol. Hello, Josie. Hello, Isabel. You gave up driving, did you? No, I'm not going to give up driving. I'll just kick Martin out of the car. You know, I can drive better than he can, and I've told him that as well. And it's when his foot keeps going forward, and I just say, what are you putting your foot down for? He said, I'm not. I thought, yes, you are. Hello, Patricia. Very sunny and warm in Ireland. Lovely. I'm glad you've had a lovely day, because mine has not been so good. Hello, Sue. So then when I got back, I did a little bit more. What did I do? I did a bit of cutting, and I made tonight's piece. And then I thought, I'm just going to have a little nana nap. And then my mum turned up. Lovely. So it was lovely to see her. Oh, he's appeared. And he was cutting the grass. So I got up, and that nana nap really set me up for the rest of the day. And now I'm wide awake. Oh, Beverly's definitely had some chilly, windy days in Norfolk. Yeah, you got your hot water bottle out, did you? Well, we said it's dressing gowns tonight because the heating has gone off. Usually it's the very beginning of May, and I completely forgot. Hello, Sandra. So in the warm weather, it actually didn't come on because it was warm, but it hadn't been turned off definitely. So it's now turned off, so just have to wrap up a little bit because I know the warm weather will return, and the next thing I'll be moaning about is too hot. But this year I have got a fan. Last year I had a fan, but it didn't come out of the box. This year, so if it's too hot, doesn't matter because I will put that on. Yes, Judith knows it's been very chilly today, and I'm still not that warm. But as I've declared summer, I will still wear the summery things I've been wearing, plus I will put something extra on as well. So, yes. I obviously have been thinking. Hello, Carol. What was I thinking? Hello, Nikki. You're glad you took your coat out this morning. I know, so cold. Good evening, Kim. Hope you're well. Hello, Susan. Yeah, so it would appear my day has just gone, and I really haven't achieved very much at all. And you know how you feel? Oh, I don't know. But, you know, here we are, 20 to 7 in the evening, and it will soon be time. Well, we'll have a little demo first of all. And I did rather enjoy this. Now, just before I came on live, I thought, oh, rather than just the demonstration of how to do it, I thought I'd actually finish it off. But it didn't go to plan. Beautiful in Darwin. Oh, so you see northwards, but not the northeast. Hello, Linda. Oh, you've had wall-to-wall sunshine in Northern Ireland. Obviously, the Irish Channel, obviously decided that's where it was stopping. But I'm glad you've had a lovely day. Vanessa sat in the garden with your coat on. Yes, I bet. In the shade, well, when I say the shade, there's no sun, but out of the wind, it wasn't too bad. So I must admit, I did cross the road a couple of times so that I could just be that little bit warmer than absolutely cold. Oh, you're sat in your garden now with the coat on. Oh, bless you. Yes. Yeah, so all sorts of things have been going through my mind. Yes, one of the West is best. Yes, it probably is. You're absolutely right. I don't know what's happening in Wales. I wonder what Wales has been like, because that's west, isn't it? Carol sat in the garden with your cosy top on. Been nice most of the day, but the sun's gone down now. Oh, that's nice to be sitting out there. I have ventured to one of the fabric stashes, but I'd nearly had a little bit of a hissy fit because I couldn't unlock the door. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, I must get in there. I must be able to get in there. So I did eventually get it open and then asked the butler, Martin, or the maintenance man, Martin, to go and spray some WD-40 on there, please. And so he has done it and he says it works perfectly. So we'll see in the morning. I hope it has rectified the situation. So, I could hear him talking. Jan says it's cold and windy in Essex. Oh, blimey. Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? It's still a little bit cloudy now. So, I don't know what's going on. There's Karen. Hello, Karen. I see. You've been working for A11 GC exam. Forgot about that. Of course, it's May, and that's when they start sitting all their GCSEs. You have been busy then. Oh, there's Jack. Hello, Jack. You're wrapped up as it's not warm in your corner of the lounge, as it does have sun during the day. Yes, it's not good, is it? Martin's yes. Ah, yes. Well, I mentioned it, whether he would have thought of it, but most things I think WD-40 will sort it out. I don't know whether it's Pinterest or wherever, but there is a long list of what you can use WD-40 for, not just for loosening things that have gone stuck or, Oh, Karen, you have. Well, you enjoy it. I imagine that you preferred it a little bit cooler if you're in classrooms or big halls where the exams are taking place. That was a long time ago when I was doing that. Yes, so WD-40, I think it is good for getting sticky residue from where there's been a sticker or a label. I think it's also good for that. I know. We talk about sewing and the weather. I know. There's no happy medium. I'm sitting on a nice comfy chair, but it's a little bit high and I can't lower it. Never mind. Hello, Amanda. Good evening to you. Do you know, as I sit here, I'm looking around and thinking, what an absolute mess. I've got a pile of fabric scraps in front of me and it's just, I don't know. Will it solve creaky jaw? Oh, that would be good. I don't know about that, Maria. Don't think so. Did I say good evening, Amanda? Well, good evening, Amanda, if I didn't. Let's see. Rosemary says it's sunny in South Wales. Bit windy, but great for drying the washing. Fantastic. Oh, it is good for him. I thought it was, Judith. That's good. That's one of the other things I thought. And due to put that list in the church magazine last year. Oh, what a great idea. But yes, there's quite a long list of what it can do. And Karen agrees. It does get rather hot in the school gym. Oh, right. Yes, I bet it does. I bet. So cooler is better. Hello, Juliet. Lovely to see you tonight. So what I'm going to do tonight is, and I think I have shared, hello, Jane, not too long ago, the weaving technique. I did fabric weaving on the front of a bag. I called it the woven flap bag when I was on Create and Craft. Might have been a Chandra, I don't know, quite some while ago. And a mat to hold them in place, and then you jiggled them about. But I found a way that is so much quicker and easier. I mean, why didn't think, you know how things, oh, Jack, you'll have a pallet full. What will you have a pallet full of? Don't know what we were saying. Oh, creaky joints. Yes. Yes, I know. Mine are creaky in the morning and mine are creaky after I've been cutting a lot, as it was yesterday I was cutting. This morning I had creaky joints. Oh, there's Margot. Hello, Margot. Oh, right. So WD-40 for everybody. Hello, Joanna. Because we all need it to, our joints just get worse, don't they? The older we get. Who's pinging me? Oh, that's my brother. I will respond later. So, as I was saying, I thought it was about 6:15. I thought I'll just finish off doing this so it makes something, and it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. So what I was going to do, I will show you the piece without. Right. So this is a little bit of weaving, and this is what I'm going to show you. The large star block behind you, was that a sew along or was it a membership group demo? It was. I have a feeling it was a free sew along I did. Making me think. I think it was a free sew along, a scrappy one. It was so if you search scrappy sew along, I think that's where it'll be. I'll put a link up if I can. I hope I have YouTube. Oh, no, it won't matter. It was before then. I'll put a link up or see if I've already done it onto YouTube. So what I decided, or what I was going to do, because I know we love making things, but it's great if they are actually useful when you've finished it. So I have put some fabric on the back, and I have started to just put a binding around the edge, but I didn't finish it completely because actually I was trying to do it a quick way here and it looks disgusting, and I didn't get a good mitre either. So I thought, do you know what? I'm not even going to bother to go the whole way round because I should take it off and do it properly. But I just thought it would just be a nice little mat. So it's something useful. Now, this can also be scrappy because all it is, I'm going to make one a little bit smaller. So this one had 8 strips in it, 8 in one colour and 8 in the other. But I'm doing one this evening with 6 in, so that all you need is two 2-inch widths of fabric in coordinating fabrics. So I had to use 2 because I did it longer, or bigger. So you want 2-inch wide width of fabric in 2 different fabrics, and I just grabbed those out of the scrappy pile and cut myself some 2-inch width strips. But it does look quite nice, doesn't it? And I feel this one, the green one, I've got that in the sale as well. So there is so much. Hello, Jennifer. Who's saying thanks, Trisha? Oh, yeah, okay, Beverly. So that's what I'm going to show you how to make. Now, I'm not going to turn the camera around because most of it is just working on it. I'm going to do a little bit of ironing, and I will swivel it over to the iron so that you can see what we are going to do. So I have now got, I think you can probably almost see the ironing board. Whoops, let's go here. There we are. So I've done one already. This was like this. You know, they're not the best, but they're a nice contrast, so it will work and show the weaving. This one I've pressed already. This one is a 2-inch width of fabric, which I'm just going to show you how to press. So all we're going to do is, let me just bring that in just a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm going to iron it. I'm going to actually iron this so that it's smooth because it's a bit wrinkly. So out of the scrap bag, and let's just press this nicely. And this iron is so hot because I'm upstairs today. Right, so I've ironed that. Now what we're going to do, and this doesn't matter how accurate you are, but we are going to fold both edges into the middle. So you don't need to fold it in half like we do a bag handle and then fold it in. I'm just going to fold, I'm going to stand up actually. I'm just going to fold about, let's just move it that way. It's between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch maximum. And I'm just going to press along here, and you can just gauge if you want to make a mark, draw a line if you want to, but I am just pressing, I'm just pulling it a little bit further along so that I have got a guide as to what I'm pressing. But it doesn't matter if you want to press 1/4 of an inch, or if it varies. You don't want it wobbly, but when you do your strips, if you do it a little bit wider, it doesn't matter, because we're still going to get the correct finished width. So let's just do this, because all we're going to do is fold the other edge in to meet that. So I'm now going to pull that back, and I am going to pull that the other raw edge into the centre so that it meets the raw edge that we've already pressed. So we don't want it to overlap. There we go, press that down, and I'm just pulling it across and pressing it where the edges come together. So one edge could be 1/4 of an inch and the other edge could be 3/4. It really doesn't matter. Or, I mean, it wouldn't be a good move, but if one side was 1/8 of an inch and the other side would be 7/8, because it's still going to give us a finished 1 inch fabric strip with no raw edges. So let's just bring that across. But as I say, we're just making those raw edges meet. We're not overlapping them. And it's going to give us a nice straight 1 inch strip with folded edges, which are nicely pressed. Okay, we're almost there now. So you could, I think the previous ones I did, we actually, we did them double-sided. We didn't have these raw edges here. And so there we have that one, and there we have that one. I might just give this one a press again, just to make that nice and firm and straight, because it will be easier when we're doing our little bit of weaving and our cutting. So you could, if you wanted to, but you see, the back of this is not going to show. So why would you go to the trouble of making a tube so that you don't have any raw edges? There's no need at all. Unless, of course, if you made a tube, you wouldn't need to back it at all. So let's just go around back to the machine, or near the machine, because we are going to work on our mat here. Right, so let's bring these in. Now, as I am using, however big you want your finished item to be, you will need, so these are 1 inch wide strips. So if you are going to have 8 inches, you want 8 strips in each colour. Now you can't get, so I would do 8 inch, I would cut this into 8 inch pieces, and then you would need 8 strips. Well, you can't get 8 strips of 8 inches out of one width of fabric. So you'd need to cut extra widths accordingly to give you the, the required amount. So I am going to make these, because if I was going to do, if I was going to cut my pieces 7 inches long, I could get 6 pieces out of a strip, but actually I need 7. So I'm going to cut these 6 inches, and I only need 6 of each. So all I'm going to do is get my ruler. Perhaps this one would be quite good. Yes, that's a 6.5. Right, so I am going to just trim that end, and then I'm going to cut these into 6 inch strips. Okay, so there is one. So 6 inches, 2, cover that blade, Trisha. Okay, So that's 2. This is a square ruler, so I'm going to get the same whatever way. 3. And 4. And I'm going to have a little bit left over. And 5. And 6. If I'd got more space, I would probably lay one strip next to the other. Don't need that piece. And go across both at the same time. In actual fact, what I'm going to do, if I lay them side by side, I can cut those off. And then I can go, let's have a look, 6. And cut 2 at a time. So that's 2. And then I'm faffing about lining them up, that it's taken me no less time. 4. And we'll do these one at a time. And 5. And 6. Okay. So I have got 6 pieces there now. Okay. So what are we going to do with these 6 pieces? Well, before we start weaving them, and that is the real fun bit, I'm actually going to stitch these next to each other. So let's lay them next to each other like this. So all the red ones together first of all. A bit of thread. I've got my 6 pieces. I am sewing with just a standard 2.5. So when you switch your machine on, the default setting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all along this short edge so they're joined. So quite close to the edge. So what have I got? There we are. I'm about 1/8 of an inch, not even that. So I'm stitching to the end, and then I'm going to put the next one underneath, probably with just one stitch in between. Okay, so then I'm going to put the I'm not cutting the thread in between, but I'm putting that up. So there's just the minimal amount in between. Then I'm going to put the next one under. There we go. And the next one. And then the next one. So I've got all 6 together. Okay, there we go. Can you see? They're all joined together at that top edge. I'm going to set that one aside. And I'm going to get the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, let's start stitching. So just along that edge, or there we go. So you don't want a big gap in between, but a little gap is absolutely fine. As I say, I just tuck it under for the next one, and then pop the next one next to it, and that's just about right. Let's just see. I can't, obviously can't see comments now, so let me just find out where we are. There we go. And I think we are bound to, let's have a look. There we go. See if anybody is saying something else. I'm being live on my story, I think. See live video, okay. And oh, Maria's there. Buenas noches. Oh yeah, no, it's me. I didn't turn the iPad around because it's just so much faffing about. I thought when I got those new stands it would make life easier, but it hasn't. So it's when it's important for it to be the right way round. I'm just waiting for Facebook to get their act together and bring it back again. Okay, so again, I have got 6 all joined together. Clever. And you're thinking, what am I going to do now? So that's the only bit of sewing that we need to do at the moment. So let me just put that under there. Okay, so let's put our strips like that, the ones vertical, so they're hanging from the top. They're all stitched together. This other set, I'm going to put those upside down, okay, along this edge here. How's that? So they're along there, and I've got the wrong side facing up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up alternate strips. Okay. And then I'm going to take the top one and I'm going to lay that over those strips here and push that to the top. And then I am going to bring this one down and this one down. Let's bring that over there. And this one down. I would have probably been better cutting my strips 6.5 inches long. So I'm just bringing that down there so that they all line up together. Push that up to the top like that. Then where the red is, so these ones, so the opposite ones that we've just covered, we're going to lift those up. So let's lift that one and alternate again, and that one, and just pull it back to where you can feel the fold of that red. And then I'm going to lay that one down. So that one is coming on the top there. And then I'm going to lay it back down again. Okay. Lay that back in there. And lay that back down there. Let's just pull that across. Then I'm going to, so the one where I put the red strips, we're going to pull that one up. So again, in the alternate strips, so that one too. And then I'm going to take a contrast strip and lay that over, butting that up to the folded part, and then bring it down again. Easy peasy. There we go. Let's just pull that one across just a tiny bit more. There we are. Now, where the contrast colour is there, so the alternate one, lift that up, pull it back, lift it up, pull it back, lift it up, fold the contrast in and up to where we folded back, and then bring it back down again. And we can sort of manipulate this a little bit when we're nearly finished. And this is the one here. There's our, wherever our contrast colour is, that is the one we pull up and pull up there. And then we bring the contrast strip across. Okay. And then we bring those strips down on top. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bring in, because I think that is fine as it is. I'm just going to snip that one off because as a small one, we can get away with purely that. How easy is that? It is. We did do weaving on a mug rug swap, and I did. Yep, simples. Okay, so from there, what I suggest we do, see, it holds together quite well. Let's move that out of the way. There we go. So that's still held together. You can just push those up, but they fitted together really, really well. If you want to just push those strips up, you can, but they are not bad at all. So what I'm going to do next is because obviously these ends are open. So all I'm going to do is stitch around the edge. I'm going to increase my stitch length. Let's do it to a 3.5. So I'll probably start here where I've got the excess. So that I can just pull that one up just a little bit more, just so that it holds together. I mean, I didn't even in my sample put pins in there to hold it, but I'm just going to stitch along the bottom edge here. So just hold those, and I'm going into my weaving strip, into the fold there, and just pull that across just a little bit. And we're going to trim that just down just a little bit, and then pivot round, and I'll come in a little bit further just to hold the contrast there and up to that edge. Now obviously this is stitched just a little bit because this edge and the next edge are where we did the holding. There we are. Those were the holding edges to hold all of our strips together. Okay, so that has got there. So now that I've just held that all together, now as I was saying, if you were to make these into tubes so there's no raw edges on this side, then you could leave it at that. Yes, you could. When you're card making, absolutely. So I'll leave that like that. So what I'm going to do now is just get myself a little bit of wadding. So roughly this, or a bit bigger. And I'm going to put that on the top there. And then I've got myself a little bit of, let's just make sure. There we go, but that's on there. Glue, no, 505 spray. And then I'm just going to stitch around all of this as well. Probably 1/8 of an inch or so in. Okay, like so, because I am going to, I'm going to trim this back. I'm just going to go back a little bit here because I shall be trimming to these bits. I'm going to trim off. So I'm going to stitch round about there because that is holding all those layers together. So what I'm trying to do is just hold all my fabrics, my wadding and my backing fabric all nicely together. And one more. And then stitch along this edge too. Now because I'm using wadding, you could use a walking foot if you wanted to. But now I've just got all of those layers together. So I'm just going to straighten off these edges here. And I wonder, oh, no, just a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do, oh no, I can do it in two. So I've got a square. So I'm just going to move that up to roughly where, that's good there. So I'm going to trim 2 edges. I'm going along there, and then, oh, I haven't got the, I just got a little cutter at the minute. So there we go. And then I'm just going to swivel that around so that I can just trim this bit off here as well. Okay, and then what I can do is line up that edge nicely. It's just under 6 inches, but I can see, so it's not quite square, but who knows? Who's going to see? So I've got a little bit of a wadding edge there, but I can turn that around and trim that part off as well. Oh, I didn't get that little bit. There we are. So now I have got myself, now obviously that's not stitched there because I've trimmed that off. So that nothing dreadful happens when I'm putting some binding on, I am just going to, I didn't realise I trimmed that off. I'm just going to stitch a little bit more along here just to hold these edges down. And I shall be stitching with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so that is not going to notice at all. Now what I was trying to do, so I have, where is my 1, 2, to... No. Oh, no, I had that. Oh, here we are. Here we are. So I have got myself a 2-inch binding strip, which I have folded in half. And rather than doing my usual, because I'm just going to put some binding around here now, rather than doing my usual way of binding, oh, that's why I was going to trim all of that off, wasn't I? Yes, I don't want that there. That was my extra bits. So let's just trim that a little bit more. Yes, that was all the excess. So that's why. So let's just, so it's going to make it rectangular, which is fine. There we are. So let's just trim that bit off completely, because actually it is stitched down. I've got that stitch line there. So that is absolutely fine. So now we're going to put our binding on. So I was trying to do a nice, easy way of slotting one piece inside the other, but it was not very, very good at all. So all I'm doing, there we are. I'll see if I can do it a little bit better this time. I have opened up and folded into a triangle. Now I'm just going to, let's see if I can, that's it all. It's not very hot. Let me just heat that up. So that when I fold it back like that, when I go all the way around, I can tuck my fabric inside there. And I'm going to do it a little bit better than I did previously. So let me just press that and tell you what I'm going to do. What made it bulky was having too much fabric. So now I'm going to trim away that extra bit. There was too much fabric there, that's right. So that I have that nice excess there, and we'll slot the other piece into it. So, and because I want to machine stitch the binding rather than hand sew, I am going to leave a bit. I'm going to leave a flap. I'm going to put this onto the reverse, actually, so that it folds over to the front. So I'm going to line my edge up there, and there we go. And I'm going to pop my foot down. I'm doing 1/4 inch seam allowance. Let's just go a little bit more, that's it. And I will reverse to start off with. And I am going to put a pin so I know roughly where my 1/4 inch is to where I'm going to stop, and pivot so that I can stitch into that corner and cut. So I think most of you will know exactly what to do here. So I'm just folding that strip to the right. I'm going to give that a little crease. Well, that's good, not my pin on the floor. And then flip it over to the left so that the fold is on that edge now. And then I'm going to stitch along here up to 1/4 inch from the edge, from this edge here. And I'm lining that up, as you see. And let's just put my pin where I need to stop. There we go. And pivot the needle and stitch into that corner. And all that does, that just makes it easier to pull the fabric and create that mitre there. So we're pulling it to the right and then flip it to the left and fold it on the edge that we've just stitched. So round we go again, and I'm lining up the edge of my binding, the raw edges, with the edge of the fabric. Let's just mark that point again. roughly there. So if you want to measure where your 1/4 inch is, by all means do. So I'll pivot that round and I am stitching into the corner there. So you can see that little line of stitching going diagonally. Then when I pull it back, it holds that in position. So crease that down and then move it to the left. I put it down with my finger just to hold that fold. Start right from the edge. Don't need to start a 1/4 inch in, and just hold the fabric lined up to the raw edges with the edge of the little mat. 1/4 inch from the end. One more. Pivot so that it goes diagonally and stitch diagonally. Okay, so again, pull that to the right, crease down there, and then bring your fabric over to the left. And this is where I'm going to lay this inside my flap here. So I think what I could have done, but I will do it now, I am going to stitch down that little bit here so that it holds that perfectly in place for when I put the next layer on, for when I put tuck it inside. So I've just gone through one layer there, but it's just holding that nicely so that when this comes down here, I'm going to tuck this inside there. So I'm just going to do a rough, I'm going to do a diagonal cut again so that I am reducing the bulk. Let's just bring that to there. Might put a pin there for this time, just so that I can tuck this piece. So this piece is going underneath there and in there. Now what I'm going to do, because that's too long. That is too long indeed. So I'm just going to trim that back just a little bit more. And also what I'm going to do, so this comes down a little bit, I'm just going to trim a little bit here. So on my raw edge, so that it folds in, so it's a little bit in. So I'm still going to bring that to the raw edge, tuck that in, and then there is much less bulk here. There we go. So this is where one learns from one's errors, which is what I did when I was popping the other one on. It was far too bulky. So by trimming that little bit away, and I'm just holding that down, holding that piece down, and then just stitching to where we started. There we go. So now that is much, you can see there, much, much better, much nicer fold. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to switch my iron back on, and I'll just bring this over to the ironing board, because what I like to do now, before I do anything else, I like to just press the binding away from the backing. So I'm just pressing the back here, just pushing that out, pushing that out. Okay, it just means, well, no, not like that. So I just ironed that so it's pushed out, so that when I bring that over, it's going to lie nice and flat. So we will go back to the machine, and as I'm finishing around the binding by machine, that's why I put my binding on the back. If you like to finish it by hand, you put your fabric right sides together on the front. So let's just bring those corners over. Now what I haven't got, so I'm just going to clip off these little bits of thread, because they do get in the way and they poke out when you don't want them to appear. So let's just clip that, I think, oh, there's a little bit there. So this is where I stitched into the corners. Okay, now let me just see if I can find my seam ripper, but I can't seem to find one. I'll just use a pencil. Sometimes I like to use I've got an old sewing needle. I might use that because that helps. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to turn those mitered corners to the front. There we go. And here as well. So let's start at our join and bring that over like so. And if you want to put binding in all the way around, or as I'm doing it as we go. So having pulled that over, I'm going to start stitching. So I would normally use a colour thread that goes along, that coordinates with. So let's just use so with my seam ripper, I usually like to push that down so that I can then pull that back into a nice mitre there. And then with my seam ripper, the point of it, I would put the point in there just to hold that mitre in place. So I stitch just into the mitre and then just holding that edge, and then pivot round and start stitching away again. So the binding will just cover over that stitching there. So just hold that down, or as I say, pop your binding clips there if you want to. And as I get close to this next corner, I'm going to push that down and push the mitre up. Hold that in place. I'll get my pin again, my needle, my used needle. This is what I like to. So I'm going to poke the needle in there just so it holds down that mitre. And as soon as if I stitched into it, I don't know whether I have or not, but I'm going to pivot round so that it catches down. There we are. So it's catching down the fabric as we pivot. And we're coming up to that corner again. So again, I'm going to put the point of my scissors down into that corner, and then I'm going to, the seam ripper is far better, and I'm just holding the mitre together so that then, and you watch, that's it, I can see the needle went into the mitre there, and so you can just swivel that around. This one looks far better than my previous one. So whenever you're sewing, don't rush, because that's where things don't go as they should. So I'm just pulling that down, create my mitre there, needle into that point where I'm looking for my needle in the machine to hit that point. There we are, that's in there. So as soon as it's in there, you can then pivot round, take your binding clip off if you have used one, and then stitch to where we started. There we are, over 2 or 3 stitches. Oh, that is so much better, so much better. And then we can turn it to the back, trim off those threads there. There's a thread. Okay, and nice and neat. Okay, so, love watching this technique, Judith, did you? Oh, and thank you very, very much. So, I think that is not bad at all. I mean, yeah, you know, but nice back to it, nice little mat, nice little mug rug in a different size. So, we have done. There we go. Okay, Christine, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. So, there it is. So, I dare show you close up. The mitres are so much better, but how easy was that compared with putting all the pins around and weaving it in and out? Yeah. So, as I say, I love the colours of this one, but the finish is leaves a little to be desired, but never mind. So, yeah, any any jelly rolls, actually, it wouldn't really make too much difference. If you use a jelly roll, you will have, instead of having a 1-inch strip, yours will be 1 1/4 inches, will make very little difference at all. So you could use 1 1/4 inch strips. And what I would say, oh, that's lovely, Christine, look forward to it. And it'll be Christine's birthday as well. So yeah, jelly roll strips. If you happen to have two, quite often jelly rolls have 2 of the same fabric. 2 is always good because it means you can always use 1 as a binding in a different colourway that goes with it, or you could make it bigger if you've got 2 the same, because as you saw, this one was using 1 strip and it comes out to about 6 inches square. And thinking about it, if I had cut when I had folded my fabric and pressed it, if I'd cut them at 6.5 inches, which would have been fine, or even 7 inches, which I would have got 7 strips out of there, I would have that little bit more leeway of getting a perfect square. Ciao for now, Tony. Thank you very much, Patricia, and thank you. So, yes, it looks much better, as I say, finished, and it really wasn't too difficult, was it? I didn't do very much preparation in advance. All I'd done was I'd press 1 of the strips. So you could easily make one of these in an hour. My mind is everywhere. Oh, that would be lovely, Beverly. Yeah, I hope if the weather, I shall still have lots of fabric because I've got lots and lots coming through. So I will do another one, I am sure, probably a little bit later in the year, perhaps August, September. We're in May now. We'll see if everybody that's coming on Saturday buys everything up. Saturday, Bev. Yes, Saturday. Lovely. Yeah, we'll love to see you, Jane. And Linda, thank you. Linda, we'll hopefully see you Saturday to pick up your goodies from last month's mega haul. Yep. Yeah, that's fine, Patricia. Don't worry. I knew what you meant. Anyhow, I'm going to love you and leave you now. My dinner is calling. Can't remember what I've got tonight. Keep thinking it's Friday. It's my fault that you think it's tomorrow because I'm thinking it's Friday and it's Thursday. Anyhow, thank you for joining for me tonight. It's been lovely having your company. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and you won't see me tomorrow, but I will put a rerun, perhaps a YouTube video. So keep watching YouTube if you can. The figures are going up. I need 3,000 hours and I'm just over 2,200. So I need 800 more hours to go. Not much, something like 48,000 minutes. Great. But if you could, it would be fantastic. So Totally Trisha 1350, or just search So Totally Trisha on YouTube. So thanks for joining me. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next week, if not before. Bye for now.